All right, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Andrew Bottom, and I am the Associate Director for the Global Internship Program at the UCLA International Education Office. And I have my colleague here from the Institute. I'd like to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Magda Yamamoto. I'm the advisor for the International Area Studies programs and majors and minors and global health minor.
Thanks, Magda. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the UCLA Global Internship Program, specifically targeting International Institute majors and minors. So today's itinerary, we'll discuss specifically to start off study abroad and COVID-19. I'm sure that's a question on everyone's minds. We'll do an overview of the program, discuss the application selection and placement process, the different locations that will be providing internship opportunities this summer, funding options, both financial aid and scholarships, and then again have a Q&A at the very end. So to begin, the biggest question probably is will there be study abroad in summer 2022? The great news is that we currently do have study abroad programs going on this fall quarter. So study abroad after a year and a half is now back. So our goal is to run programs in the summer for the Global Internship Program. Obviously, COVID is a dynamic situation, so we are constantly monitoring the locations that we plan to send students. We will take into consideration student timelines should there be any change in the situation on the ground, in which case we would have to cancel a program. We would make sure to do that quite early on in the process so that you still have a chance to switch to another location or change your plans or go to a virtual program should that be the case. We do have virtual opportunities that will be provided either way, no matter what. And so we just appreciate your flexibility and patience through the process. The biggest thing I would like to mention is that if you are planning to study abroad this upcoming summer, it's really, really important that you do have your valid passport. If you need to renew your passport or get a new passport, currently for at least US citizens, the US passport control is taking about 4 months to do the process and start to finish. So if you do fall in that camp where you do need to renew or get a new passport, you definitely start doing that now. The passport that you have should be valid at least 6 months after the end date of your program. So in the case of the Global Internship Program, all of the internship sites will be finishing up mid-August. So it should be 6 months past mid-August of this summer 2022 that it should be valid, your passport. All right, so let's do a quick little overview of the program in general. So the Global Internship Program occurs in the summer, so mid-June to mid-August. It includes 8 weeks of an internship, either on-site or a virtual internship, and includes 10 weeks of online coursework. The coursework follows the summer session A 10-week calendar. All students will take a minimum of 4 units and a maximum of 8. So there's 1 to 2 courses that are offered. These are academic internships, so they are unpaid. And if you are doing an in-person internship, you would be interning between 32 to 40 hours per week, so full-time. If you are planning to do a virtual internship, you would be interning 20 to 30 hours per week. Eligibility criteria, so you must be a UCLA undergraduate student, a minimum of 90 units completed by the end of spring 2022. That can include transfer and AP credit. So, it should be a rising junior in a sense, a 3.0 cumulative GPA, and a good academic standing. As far as the academics, there are 2 courses that are offered. The courses again follow the 10-week summer session A calendar. They include a IASTD 195 CE internship course. So that's the International Area Studies 195 CE internship course, and CESC 130, which is a intercultural communication in the global workplace course. So the 195 CE course is mandatory. Every student must take it. The CESC 130 course is optional if you'd like to add. I'm going to allow Magda to talk a little bit more about how these courses could apply to your major or minor.
So the course, the 195 CE, can be applied to international area studies majors and minors, and to global studies major, minor, and international development studies. So the way it works is you will be writing a paper based on your experience in internship, based also on the literature that you will be given. That research paper will need to be applicable to your major or minor. So if you're a global studies major, it has to be has some globalization topic in the paper. And we will be working with you to make sure that your paper can be applied to the minor. So there is a TA who will be working with you, who communicates with us all the time to make sure that your paper will be applied to as one of the requirements of the major or minor.
And
So
for
that's all I covered.
The
Yes.
195 CE course, Magda, for the global health minor, does that also apply?
Yes, global health minor, I'm sorry. Yes, it
Just
does
wanted to make
apply to
sure.
global health minor. So last year we had students who wrote some papers. I think we had a student who was in South Africa, and she wrote a paper on AIDS, how it's being handled in Africa, and she was able to apply that course to the minor.
Excellent. And then we do have the CESC 130 course, and as you can see below, so the global studies, international area studies, and international development studies all have the ability to apply that course to some of the different pillars of those majors and minors. Global health does not have that option, but as you can see, it's possible for you to get 8 units that could be going towards your major or minor in the program. So one big thing to know is that if you are enrolling in 8 units, so both courses, you would intern only 4 days a week, giving you 1 additional day basically out of the week to just focus on academics. If you are enrolled in, if you do plan to apply for financial aid, you also must be enrolled in both courses to be financial aid eligible. So just something to note as you plan out your experience. Anything else on the academics, Magda, before I
think that covers it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so for registration, just so you're aware, we are currently accepting applications. So we opened on October 25th, this past Monday, and we are going through until December 5th. So something to note about the application process, and I'll put these links into the chat at the very end. But the application, it's not first come, first serve. So you are able to apply anytime during that timeline. The benefit of applying earlier, though, is that you will be able to do your advising appointment sooner than later. So I'll go through that process here just in a second, but just note that basically applications are open and the deadline to apply would be December 5th. So the way the program works is, and I guess actually before we even go into how the application process works, let me first talk about what you need to prepare before you apply. There's 2 things that you'll want to do before you open up the application. One is you'll want to make sure your resume is current and up to date. This is what will be sent out to potential employers that you could be your internship site managers. So make sure that it's, spell check, grammar check, that it's includes experience that would be relevant to doing an internship in your field of study or whatever your career interests are. Additionally, there will be a questionnaire that you'll see on the application at the very, very end that will have 4 different questions. These questions are what we call our motivation to enroll questionnaire. It talks about a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the program, why you selected the location that you did, your career goals and how this experience will help you in the future to reach them, and then why you think you're a good applicant. So just some general information about yourself and interest in the program. The one thing about the application is you cannot save it while you're in it. So I suggest that you do write out these answers prior to the application so you can copy and paste them into the application. So you can do it on a Word doc beforehand, have it saved in advance. I'll show you at the end once I go to the website where to find these questions so that you can prepare in advance and you don't have to write them down from here. Once you do apply to the program, you'll apply through our website. So again, I'll put this link here at the end once I'm going to our website of where to go. Once you do apply and submit your resume, your motivation to enroll questionnaire, I'll do an initial check just to make sure you meet the minimum eligibility requirements they talked about earlier on in the presentation. As long as you meet those requirements, I will be forwarding on your application information to one of our in-country partners. Who those partners are basically is they are the folks who are in charge of placement into your internship site. So they have a network of locations of organizations and companies that they work with to place university students each summer and throughout the year. They also are in charge of your housing, your health and safety when you're abroad. So they're pretty much in a sense your main contact on the ground once you are on the program. I'm obviously here to help and assist, but I won't be physically there with you all. So they're definitely your go-to folks once you are in country. After all the advising appointments are done, which will happen after December 5th, since that's the deadline to apply, we'll let you know if you got accepted into the program. Usually it's around the end of the first week of January. For certain sites, if we're able to get the advising appointments done sooner than later, you could hear about it in like late December, but I would say more of the first week of January is most likely. If you are accepted into the program, then at that point, we'll ask for a $300 non-refundable deposit to confirm your spot in the program. So it's important to note that by applying and doing the advising appointment, there is no financial commitment until you are accepted and decide to put down your deposit. So it's a great opportunity in that advising appointment. They're going to do their best to figure out whether you're a good match for the opportunities that are available, in country. So they'll ask you quite a few questions about your career goals and your interests and what you hope to accomplish, your experience. But it's a great opportunity for you too, similar to a job interview, to ask, about what life is going to be like, on the ground, to ask about, what about the opportunities that are available, to see if they match with what you're hoping for as well. So you're kind of, figuring them out too, to make sure it's a good fit for yourself. After you put down your deposit in early January, mid-February is when the final payment is due for the program fee, or if you're using financial aid, there'll be a financial aid application you'll submit in lieu of payment, and that will just let us know that you plan to use financial aid to pay for the program fee, which will be dispersed usually around 5 days before your program begins. Once you are officially enrolled and in the program after a payment deadline and cancellation deadline has passed in the middle of February, at that point, we will begin to do the internship placement process. So the in-country partners that we work with, they'll probably do another advising appointment with you again, and maybe even do some interview prep. And then they will eventually start sending out your resume to potential internship site managers. And what will end up happening is those managers that are interested in interviewing you will set up an interview, and you'll probably do it over Zoom or Skype. If it goes well and both you and the manager think it's a good fit, you'll sign an internship contract, and then that will be your placement for the summer. If either you think it's not a good fit or your internship site manager doesn't think it's a good fit, then you'll move on to the next interview. So in most cases, you're going to get, it's a linear process. You'll do one interview, and then you'll move on to another until you're placed. Usually you're not doing a ton, you're not doing 10, you're usually doing maybe 1 to 4, depending on how things go. So just so you're aware, you're not going to be doing 10 different interviews and then get to pick and choose what you want most. It will be more of a linear process of how that will work. And then prior to going on your global internship program, we'll do a pre-departure orientation. Our on-site partners will Zoom in so you can get to know them as well again. And they'll talk about kind of on-site information. And then once you arrive in country, they'll also do an orientation once you arrive. So location. So for the global affairs track, so we call this track global affairs to kind of encompass all of the International Institute majors and minors. That's just our name for it. It's obviously not a major at UCLA, but it's under the global affairs track is what you would apply to. The locations include Bogota and Medellin, Colombia, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Cape Town, South Africa, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, London, UK, and virtual opportunities as well. One thing to note for virtual opportunities, if you are thinking of doing a virtual internship, it's definitely a good option if you, one, are unable to travel during the summer. A lot of our students who, let's say our DACA students who are unable to go outside the country for a study abroad program, it's an excellent opportunity to work with a internship, or manager abroad or a company abroad. And it's also a great opportunity if you're hoping to work in the summer, because you want to earn, money from a local job or whatnot, that you could, because it's only about 20 to 30 hours a week, could balance both. So just want to plug that in case a virtual internship is something you'd like to do. The locations themselves, the placement areas that are available do vary a little bit by location. If you're on the website, and I'll go over that in just a minute here, you'll see some example placement opportunities. Those that we have put on our website aren't the only opportunities. So just note they're just some examples of what past students have done. But you can definitely, talk to the on-site partner when you're doing your advising appointment to make sure that whatever you're interested in, is represented, in that city that you're hoping to intern in. One example of a student we had last year was Shannon Courtney, and she interned in Bogota, Colombia, a virtual internship with Somos Capaces. And she said, my career aspiration is to work in foreign diplomacy, particularly in Latin America. So this internship experience with Somos Capaces has allowed me to develop better professional skills and cross-cultural participation with international peace builders. So she had an internship with them. I know it's one of our partners that we do work with in Colombia. One thing that I wanted to note is that we do have, if you are interested in Buenos Aires, we are having a country-specific session from our on-site partners. They like to do a special session for students who are interested. That will be next Thursday at 12:30. And it can be found on our calendar page. I'll put that link here in just 1 minute onto the chat. You can sign up for that session if you're interested there, and it'll be a great opportunity to learn more about the opportunities in Buenos Aires straight from our partners there. As far as program costs and funding. So these include the program fees, some estimated airfares and meals and incidental costs. So to just kind of talk about this in terms that will make sense, the program fee is going to include your tuition, it includes your health insurance, it includes your housing while you're there, and then also our partners on site who are doing, health and safety, they're doing all the placements. So that includes all of that together. You'll see there's obviously a difference between the 4-unit and 8-unit fee that is basically just based on the 4 additional units. Your round trip airfare and your meals incidentals are really based on your own spending habits. So it's definitely likely you might get a ticket, let's say to Colombia for $500 and not $750. We do a little higher estimates on the airfare to make sure that you're prepared in advance in case you specifically are using financial aid, and they'll be allotting these budgets in the amount of money that they are providing to students. And the same thing with meals. You could be all internship opportunities, you'll be having a kitchen available in your housing, so you're able to cook and be frugal, or you can go out and eat out a lot. So it really depends, and that amount of money you spend will depend on your own spending habits. But you can see that Colombia is on the more economical end. Both Cape Town and Buenos Aires are pretty similar in price. And then we have Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. London's on the definitely more expensive end. It's definitely partly due to just being a higher cost of living in London. So for the housing, your meals. Also, there's a visa that's required to study abroad in the UK or to do an internship in the UK, and that's quite expensive. It says 405 here for US citizens, but $800 of that visa is actually wrapped up into your program fee as well, that our partners are helping with that process. So it's quite an expensive visa. For Ho Chi Minh City, it used to be a very cheap visa, and now with COVID, they have some higher restrictions. And so it's going to be between $150 to $250, but we put $250 for now, just so you're prepared, but hopefully it does come down in price. And then of course, for the virtual programs, we didn't include airfare because you're not flying anywhere for those programs. For your meals and incidentals and housing, let's say, if you are applying for financial aid, please note that they will take that into consideration, the same that they would if you were a summer student working or living, on campus to do a summer program. So just note that we don't put in the estimates for meals and for housing, but if you are applying for financial aid, they will estimate that into your budget for the program. All right. For financial aid, you are, if you normally are eligible for financial aid, you would be similarly for the summer for a global internship program. You'll want to make sure that you fill out your FAFSA or DREAM Act forms by the prior deadline of the 2022-2023 deadline, because the summer is the next academic term. There will be some additional documents and forms to fill out for the program for financial aid that we would let you know about, once you are enrolled in the program. And then again, the biggest thing to note is if you do plan to apply for financial aid, you must be enrolled in 8 units. Additionally, there are some scholarships available. So I'm going to show you where these are on the website in just a second here. A couple to highlight here is we do have the Global Internship Scholarship for up to $3,000. That scholarship is for any student who is participating in the Global Internship Program, who is financial aid eligible. So that's a small number of students if you think about it, compared to like a university-wide scholarships. You should definitely apply. It's up to $3,000 for in-person and $1,000 for virtual. The Wang Middle Income Scholarship is $2,000. That's for any student who's considered middle income. And I'll show you where to see where those numbers are based on your FAFSA. There are two additional scholarships I'll show you on our website in a second here. They failed to put on this slide, but they include one for the UK specifically, and another one that is based out of just for students who are taking the International Area Studies 195 CE course that's available for any student on this program. So I'll show you those in one second. External scholarships, the Gilman Scholarship is something, if you are a Pell Grant recipient, you should definitely apply to. It's a national scholarship. You get up to $5,000 to do a study abroad program in the summer. It's about a 25% acceptance rate for students who apply nationally, but UCLA has actually done really, really well. And just from my own qualitative observations, I would say our students, receive it maybe 40 to 50% of the time. So it is a really great opportunity to put together a good application. There's a project you have to do when you return to campus, but definitely should apply if you're a Pell Grant recipient. We also have some databases on our website, including Diversity Abroad Scholarship Database, that you can go to research some different scholarship opportunities based on your major, identities, things like that. And then before I go to the website, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the program at all. I'm free to answer them over email or to set up a one-on-one advising appointment. So as I mentioned, I'm going to take us to the website here. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the chat a couple links. So first, here is how to get to our site, and I'm going to put in Global Affairs here so you can get right to the Global Affairs opportunities. The next, so as you notice here, you'll see the different locations that are listed. If you go to any of them, let's say we'll go to the Bogota and Medellin, Colombia destination, and you scroll down, there's a couple of things you can notice. The documents to prepare for your application. If you scroll on that, you will see those 4 questions I mentioned. So again, you'll want to write those on a Word doc before you apply, so you have all your answers ready to copy and paste into your application. You'll also notice on internship placements, some examples of placement opportunities. So you'll see here some examples of opportunities, and you can click on these sample placements to see what those, a little bit more description about them. Some of our partners provide actual descriptions, some don't. They just provide the organizations that they work with. It's a good opportunity to look at some in advance. But again, just note that there's more opportunities than those that are listed. These are just a couple of examples. In addition here, you can look at the on location. You can see what your accommodations will be for your specific internship site. So as far as your accommodations for housing, whether it's a single room or you're a double room, again, there will be meals, and meals are not included, but there'll be a kitchen space in all locations for students. And then travel, you'll learn if there's visa requirements. Again, it will mention about US citizens specifically. If you're a non-US citizen and have questions about visa, whether you need a visa to do an internship in your select location, definitely email me and I can let you know, or we can figure out. To note as well, again, here's the calendar. And I wanted to send to you in the link here, there's info session. If you're interested in Buenos Aires program, you can sign up. So I'm going to send that link here. That info session is next Thursday at 12:30. So definitely attend if you'd like to talk with our partners there in Buenos Aires. Additionally, for finances, if you click on finances and go to scholarships, and I'll drop this link in the chat as well. This is where you can find the scholarship opportunities I just mentioned for the Global Internship Program. So I click on here, scholarships. So I mentioned already the Global Internship Program Scholarship and the Wang Scholarship. In addition, there's the Kramer and Siebert International Scholarship for $1,000 that's run through the International Institute, and we'll have an update on the eligibility for that. It has these different cities and countries here. This will be updated to all the different cities and countries that go to this program. So just note that hasn't been updated on our website yet. Also the UK Undergraduate Scholarship. That scholarship will be available for students who are studying in the UK. And then this Center for Community Engagement Internship Award, I'm not sure if it will be available for next year. It was the first year that was provided last year to the Center for Community Engagement. We did have one student who received it, which was excellent from our program. Hopefully it's available next year, but we will update all of this information soon. None of these scholarships will be available for applications until the start of the year, so in January. So just note there's nothing to do right this minute with scholarships. That said, one thing that I will make note of is that the Global Internship Scholarship specifically, we will have an application deadline prior to the add drop deadline for the program. So you'll know if you receive that scholarship before the cancellation deadline for the program. Your deposit of $300 will be already due by the time you apply, because we need to know you're in the program in order for you to apply. But if you're still on the fence of whatnot of moving forward with the program or not, you will know whether you received this scholarship prior to needing to be on the hook for the full program fee amount. And I think for our website, that is all I wanted to show you all. So I'm going to go back to the context slide, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So let me first go in the chat, and then I'll open it up for anyone who has questions, if you want to raise your hand. So give me 1 second here. This question is, I'm a UCAP exchange undergrad at UCLA. Can I still apply? So most likely, probably not. You would need to be a UCLA student during the summer session. And I believe most of the UCAP exchanges end in the spring. So you could definitely talk to your UCAP advisor. But yes, you must be a UCLA official student during summer session A 2022. Where will this recorded presentation be posted? I'm going to post it just so you can see. I'll send it to everyone on this that showed up today as well, but just so that you're aware in the future, I will be posting this recording to just above the Global Affairs section. I'll have it replacing this here. So where it has the information to attend, I will place the recording there. Another question, if we are still under a pre-major status, can we still apply? Yes, you can still apply. This technically the 195 CE course is open to any student, but obviously our internships are focused on kind of these majors and minors. Magda, would there be any, if they're a pre-major, would there be any issue as far as the credits counting towards their major status?
No, they can, the students, we will apply the courses to the major.
Okay.
Both global studies, IBS, and international area studies, and global health.
Awesome. There's another question that says, I'm a double major in public affairs and Chicano studies. Are there any other opportunities for my Chicano studies major? There is nothing specifically in the sense of credit as far as that internship course for Chicano studies. We do have a public affairs program that goes to the exact same locations as the global affairs program, as you'll notice. If you're a public affairs major, I would note that this the 195 CE course, if you wanted to go through public affairs, would be the public affairs 195 CE, and that does count towards the capstone 187A course that you would be taking anyways for the public affairs major. So it might make more sense for you to do a public affairs track for this program. You can still choose between the same locations. And then if you want an emphasis that maybe incorporates some of the concepts of Chicano studies, that would be something, to figure out whether you can kind of meld those both together. But we don't have a Chicano studies 195 CE that we currently offer for the program. Another question was, does this program work for people majoring in political science and communications? Yes, we have a political science major as well. So political science, as you can see here, public affairs and global affairs, which is the International Institute majors and minors, are all the same locations actually, because there's a lot of overlap with some of the internship types. So if you're a poli-sci major, you would most likely want to apply through poli-sci if you're looking to get the poli-sci 185 CE credits. That said, I don't know if you have a minor in one of these areas, in which case maybe it makes more sense for you to do the global affairs track. It really depends on what sort of units you're trying to get. The major difference really is that 195 CE course will be either in poli-sci or international and area studies, and how you want that to apply, to your major or minor. Any other questions? That's everything from the chat. Any other questions for the chat? Or if you want to raise your hand, that's fine as well. All right, well, I'm going to, I have one more. Yes, Ernesto.
So my question is pretty much on the language requirement. So say I study abroad in Buenos Aires, Argentina, how would that play into my language requirement?
You might need to ask your department about that. I'm not actually sure. There's no language coursework. So in a sense of the courses, I'm assuming the language requirement probably includes, Spanish coursework. So your internship might be in Spanish. So something to note too, if you are doing an internship, let's say in Colombia, Argentina, or Vietnam, and you have the local language skills, then, you know, that's great. And you can definitely practice those language skills. And depending on your fluidity in that with the local language, you might be able to do your entire internship, you know, in Spanish or in Vietnamese, or even if you're a language learner, still be able to, you know, do it in the host language. If you only speak English and you don't have a language proficiency, that's okay too. You will have a English manager, English speaking manager that would help you in that case, so that you're not, you know, having any issues. So you're guaranteed an English speaking manager if you don't have the language skills. But yeah, for your language requirement, I would imagine that you would need to take actual language coursework to complete the requirement. So I know there's a Spanish series for that. So even if your internship is in Spanish, you're doing a internship course and you're doing potentially a CSC 130 course, which neither of those are a language coursework. So I don't imagine it would count towards it, but you could ask the Spanish department if that's who you're looking to do it through.
Okay, yeah, I will do that. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all so much for attending. Again, I'll send this recording out to everyone on email that attended today, and then I also will add it to your website. Any questions about applying, definitely, you know, send me an email, or we set up a one-on-one Zoom. And just note that even though there's technically no benefit in the sense of applying earlier than later as far as getting into the program, if you want to do that advising appointment sooner and not doing it around middle of December during your finals, I would definitely encourage you to apply sooner than later. I saw one extra hand up. I don't know if was there Ernesto or there's another student that raised their hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did it like by mistake. But I think I do have a question. Like, do I have to declare? Let's say I want to do something for my IDS, International Development Studies, and do I have to be declared to attend the program? I mean, declare the majors.
I can respond.
Sure.
I mean, I guess you're asking if you can apply that course to IDS even if you're not declared as an IDS major. So the answer is yes. So whenever if you take the course, I mean, if you do the global internships, you take the course, then you declare the major after that, then the course will basically be applied to whatever requirement in the IDS major.
Oh, sure. Thank you. And also, where's the link for like a specific location internship that we can make an appointment on the Zoom meeting?
Oh yeah, I'll drop that in the chat one more time. So this is specifically for Argentina. So our partners there wanted to do a special Zoom meeting for that info session. So I dropped it into the chat, so you should be able to see that now. Oh, have you seen all these? I realize I've been doing it to waiting room. Has everyone seen those chat things or no?
No. So
Oh.
yeah.
Well, now I feel bad. Okay, so that is in the chat now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. If for anyone who is still here, I will drop in really quick the scholarships link as well, and to our website, but I'll email all of you afterwards just as a safety. Okay. Well, thank you all. I'm gonna stop the recording now, and again, reach out to me if you have any questions in the future, and hope to see you on a program this summer.
Thank you.